Or if you look at a band that's rising in popularity, or if you look at basically anything that's new, you'll see very rapid growth at the beginning, extremely rapid growth. And it looks like whatever you're studying is on track to take over the world. Is this rapid growth going to continue forever? Probably not. What's going to happen? Yeah, it's going to level off, right? So if you look at a species in biology or ecology, that's a great example. You have an initial flourishing process, but then you're likely to see a leveling off. This leveling off could either be that it continues to grow, but it just grows more slowly. So what happens when you transition from flourishing to leveling off? It starts with an I. Inflection point. Thank you. There's an inflection point in here. And so what people who don't understand calculus do is they make rash predictions based on this initial flourishing stage. But there's going to be some resource that's being used up here. And as you start to use it up, then you cross over and you're leveling off. This would also describe the popularity of a band. If you have a band and they're hot, suddenly they have tremendous popularity, well, they're not going to be growing that way forever. It won't be the case that the entire galaxy has heard of this band. Can you give me an example of something that you think would have an inflection point in its popularity? Ukraine. Do you think there was a moment of explosive growth and then the growth leveled off? Google searches for Ukraine. So you can tell where the inflection points are here really clearly. Let's do something a little less serious, because to dye an egg, okay. D-I-E or D-Y-E? It's like everyone realizes that I'd forgotten how to dye an egg all at once. And it rapidly picks up. And here there's actually going to be a critical point also, right? When suddenly people stop caring about dyeing eggs. So we're going to have a critical point close to Easter. We're going to have an inflection point close to probably a few days before Easter. Why this is important? Well, your job eventually, if you use math in the real world, will be to come up with what are called mathematical models. And you won't know the function that you're dealing with all the time. Rather, you will have to reason about what type of behavior you expect to see. What is something that just exploded in popularity at one point? Gangnam Style, right? Over since 2004. Yeah, so you see this explosive growth and then you see this decline and you see the inflection points. There's a time where people would say, well, I think this is going to take over the world. Everyone, like Gangnam Style will be the only song on the radio, but it's slowed down and then it starts to turn around. And if you're predicting this popularity, don't fall for the trend exclusively. You know that this graph is going to have an inflection point. It's not going to explode forever. You know the graph will have an inflection point, and the question is, when will it have an inflection point? The people who don't understand calculus don't think about the fact that the graph will have an inflection point. So critical points and inflection points are two of the major ideas of calculus 1. There's a lot of value also in thinking about why inflection points would happen on a graph and roughly where you would expect to see them.